Yo, welcome back guys, it's your boy Random Reaper 679 here. Today we're just going to be finishing off this game. I think there's only let's say 20 to 30 minutes of this game, but first we're gonna listen to the pause menu music. Alright, now let's get into the game.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out. Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room, until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
What did not want to open? Oh, hold on. I'm doing the wrong button. There we go. Oh.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Alright, well, we don't do drugs on this channel, kids. So, yeah. Drugs are bad. Never do them.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior.
Yo, this is the type of job I want.
His mind began to wander.
Alright, now we gotta do two things.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. He took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Yo, can I jump my finger off? Question mark?
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Louis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. like a whole new Lewis.
I'm not gonna try to talk so much this
So I let him go on.
because I usually get cut off from this game. This game does not like me.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Doggy.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topi. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
I hope this music isn't copyright. I mean, I got my... Okay, good thing it didn't play anything copyright worthy. Phew.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery,
music.
but his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won.
For the Mario. See, yeah, Mario.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for
Rainbows.
radiant rainbows. He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Squishy soldiers. Squish, squish.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Strap, look at him. Got the cane on deck. Or just smack some kids up. Oh, like I said, don't do drugs, kids, they're bad.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Finch, remember? This guy sucks at his job.
I still thought I
up.
could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Some fire beats, bro. You know it's like playing nothing, but it's alright, guys. We have to sacrifice this in music so we don't get copyrighted.
His queen waited, holding his crown.
Cause if we get copyrighted, then
There was only one thing left to do.
10 years just to upload another video, and you guys probably don't want that, so yeah.
Bend down his head.
Well, this doesn't look good.
And the rest I think you know.
That kind of scared
Mrs.
me.
Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Me too.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
This one. Imagine having a boat part of your house, guys. Look at it.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch. On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Satisfying.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
90th birthday. Sanjay Kumar. So that's her dad right there. I think, yeah. Her mom's done.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Look at a very soft bed. About go night night.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Alright, I'm out. Goodbye.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles.
Pajamas. Look at how soft her pajamas look. Lucky.
When my mom sailed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance.
Can I go upstairs? No, okay.
Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
And I got turned around.
I got turned around.
Like this game.
I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
House on the waters.
Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed, but
Dang.
Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
What?
She got better for a while.
Died Finch, 10th October of 2016.
And then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this.
Are we in alphabet soup? What?
If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you.
I don't like the looks of it.
But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Born. We're a child now.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
And I think that's the end of the game. I think we're finished, guys. And there's that beautiful house. About 15,000 million stories up high. It's a beautiful house. Story by Giant Sparrow for Shirley Dallas, 1948, 2013. Well, that's it, guys. We finished this game. I hope you guys like this, video. So I will see you back on Minecraft, guys. I love you. You guys are wonderful with all the comments and stuff. And bye-bye, guys.